Hey agents, if you're new to Escalations and have hit a massive wall of difficulty at certain tiers, you're definitely not alone. Enemies aren't just tougher, tankier, and capable of dealing more damage. They operate differently, gain entirely new capabilities, and force your team to adapt in ways that most other game modes never demanded. Those new mechanics are called mutators. There are two categories of mutators you'll encounter during Escalations. The first are global mutators, which affect the entire mission and every player participating in it. The second are enemy mutators, which affect specific enemies and can be identified by the icons displayed above their heads. Some mutators don't simply make enemies harder to kill, they force players to rethink how they position, how they move, how they support one another, and sometimes even what builds they bring into the mission. So let's take a look at some examples and see how these mutators can completely change the battlefield. Let's first look at the global mutators and explore how to solve for them. The first is Unyielding, which has been updated as of Year 8, Season 2. All enemies cleanse their status effects once when significantly damaged. The Unyielding icon contains a muscular figure with wavy lines above him. If you've watched my Tactical Status Effects mini-series, you'll know that status effects can be powerful tools for controlling enemy movement, denying territory, creating breathing room, and activating certain weapon and gear talents. But Unyielding changes the equation. When an enemy reaches the mutator's damage threshold, they immediately cleanse any active status effects. Burn, bleed, shock, foam, and other effects can still be applied, but each enemy gets one opportunity to remove them. That means timing becomes more important. For example, if you're relying on crowd control to stop an enemy push, some enemies may suddenly break free and continue advancing. Likewise, if you're using talents that depend on enemies being status affected, a cleanse can temporarily interrupt those bonuses. The good news is that status effects are still effective. They haven't been disabled. You'll simply need to account for the fact that enemies can remove them once. After that cleanse occurs, status effects can be applied normally again. As always, use status effects as part of a broader strategy that includes positioning, target selection, teamwork, and good decision-making. Variety Pack is new as of Year 8, Season 2. This mutator reads, each time you kill an enemy with an equipped weapon beyond the first 2 kills, you gain a stacking minus 10% penalty to weapon damage, to a maximum of minus 50%. Reset the stacks by killing an enemy with a different weapon. This icon features a gesture symbol. Pretty hard to miss. Think of Variety Pack as a gentle nudge away from relying on a single weapon all the time. The more kills you score with the same weapon, the less effective it becomes. Eventually, you'll want to switch weapons, secure another kill, and refresh the cycle. Whether that proves to be a major gameplay consideration or a minor inconvenience remains to be seen. What seems clear, however, is that the mutator is designed to encourage weapon swapping rather than relying exclusively on a single weapon for extended periods. Last, we have Hotfoot, which has also been updated as of Year 8, Season 2. It now appears only at Tier 7 and higher. If you stay in the same spot for too long, a charge counter begins to fill. When it reaches maximum, you are shocked and take damage. This icon shows a guy who looks like he's getting zapped. Let's make sure that's not us. Unlike the other mutators, Hotfoot doesn't change the enemies. It changes your relationship with the battlefield. The longer you remain in one location, the closer you move toward triggering the penalty. Once the charge meter fills, you'll be shocked and take damage, often at exactly the wrong moment. What normally feels like a strong defensive position can suddenly become a liability. You're not just fighting the enemies anymore, you're fighting the battlefield itself. The key is to avoid becoming rooted to a single piece of cover for too long. Use your surroundings to your advantage. Reposition when appropriate. Give each team member room to operate and avoid blocking each other's lines of fire. If you move regularly and adapt, you might hardly notice this mutator at all. but players who become fixated on one position may find themselves being forced out of cover at the worst possible time. Not because the enemies changed, but because the battlefield did. And that's really the lesson behind these global mutators. Success in Escalation isn't just about having a strong build. It's about understanding what's happening around you and adapting accordingly. But global mutators are only half the story. Let's take a look at the enemy mutators. As you take on higher escalation tiers, the more likely enemies will have individual mutators. So consider their effects on the fight in conjunction with enemy armor, health, and damage scaling. Let's start down here and go upwards because I'm saving the best one for last. The Aid Specialist periodically repairs the armor of nearby allies if they are badly damaged. Its icon is a polygon containing two fists. Aid Specialists begin appearing in the higher escalation tiers. I don't currently have footage of their earliest appearance, so I'll use representative gameplay to discuss the mutator. The key is to identify them by their icons, which can be challenging when multiple enemies, status effects, and other indicators are competing for your attention. Unlike healing stations, the Aid Specialist doesn't require a deployable skill to repair allied armor. The repair effect comes directly from the mutator itself. If you notice enemy armor bars suddenly recovering during a fight, there's a pretty good chance an Aid Specialist is nearby and supporting the group. Left unchecked, Aid Specialists can turn what should be a short engagement into a long and frustrating battle. Next, we have Suppressor. When damaged, this enemy starts to charge an EMP blast. When fully charged, he unleashes it, disrupting everything in the area. The Suppressor is easy to spot by its icon, a seeker mine-like object that looks like it's about to explode. These enemies don't throw seeker mines, but when damaged, they start charging a powerful EMP. Here, you can see that the orange outer ring is nearly complete. Once it goes off, you'll kiss your skills goodbye. Have your DPS players burst them down quickly before the charge completes. To help counter the EMP, keep any skills you need out of EMP range, which is roughly 10 to 15 meters. If either skill gets hit, reposition and redeploy as soon as you can. And now I've saved the most important mutator for last, Harvester. When dealing damage, this enemy regenerates armor and health by a percentage of your maximum armor. Can overheal. As of the June 2026 update, players now have a way to counter Harvester. Disable this effect by damaging the enemy with your grenades or by applying any status effect. Harvester is identified by a scythe icon, similar to the Grim Reapers, and trust me, you'll want to recognize it quickly. Before this update, Harvester was responsible for one of the most difficult escalation encounters our group experienced. A player in our group was running an all-blue core build. Normally, extra armor helps absorb mistakes and improve survivability, but Harvester changes the rules. Because the mutator scales from player armor values, heavily armored teammates can unintentionally provide Harvester mutated enemies with a massive source of healing. The result can be shocking. Enemies that should be going down quickly suddenly seem impossible to finish off. Damage disappears, progress stalls, and fights begin dragging on far longer than expected. The good news is that the June 2026 update gives us a direct answer. A grenade hit or any status effect completely disables Harvester on that enemy. That means burn, bleed, shock, foam, and other status effects are no longer just crowd control tools. They can now shut down one of the most dangerous mutators in Escalation. What I've come to appreciate about Escalations is that success isn't just about having a stronger build. Mutators have changed the battlefield. The higher the tiers become, the less you can rely on familiar tactics and comfortable routines. The solution is awareness, preparation, and adaptability. If you do, those beautiful purple prototype loot beams will become much easier to earn. That's it from me. If this video helped you in any way, please consider subscribing and sharing it with friends who might benefit from it. I'd love to hear about your own escalation experiences down in the comments below. Until the next video, stay strong, stay safe, and stay dangerous.